welcome to. Oh, welcome, welcome the people.
Hi guys, we're back. It's not the usual welcome back to Purposeful. We're back.
Sibuyile. Cool. So today is episode 2 of Becoming Mrs Makhubalo, and I thought that it would be nice to kind of share how we got to even speaking marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just for it to end up being, engagement, dun. So so you go. How did it start?
Oh no. So I go.
I mean, as in how did we get here?
I thought we were speaking about us staying together and then ultimately us getting engaged.
So what led to us getting to
introduce our topic, short niche.
Okay.
You can start. Ladies first. I know, but like young.
Wow. Kakatete.
This is wazicela lo mtshato. And then then I thought, okay, I can Shane is Aram. No, I'm just joking. When did we start dating? I always have that question.
I don't know.
You wanna say June?
June.
Yeah.
I think it was June. Around June-ish. June.
Yeah, so since when we got back, it wasn't long after we got back together. You fell pregnant, we fell pregnant, and then we've spoken about this. Then we went through a lot of ups and downs. Then closer to the birth of Uluhle, I just felt like it was more practical for us to stay in one place. Didn't make sense to have 2 different places. Poor from in fact, even before, I think before December, even before we even got to the lowest of our lows, I felt like a point, and at that time you were still staying with.
I was still staying in Soweto.
And I felt like it's just not practical. We both work in Sandton, but and I felt like it's not practical, and I felt like, and I wanted to help, to assist wherever I can, because I think the way the pregnancy was so tough, it was always even when we went to gynae appointments, he was like, no, you need to take care of her. And I was like, I can't do that. Felt like I can't. Because she's just being a lot, this lady. So at one stage, then Bawo but I was like, he's not a psychologist, he's not going to get it. So, even before Luther was born, I felt like we should be staying together. It's just practical. And I mean, when you got your place, it was December, and I had already pitched, but maybe you should just come stay here. So I felt like, this lady. Okay, I was like, okay, do your thing, girl. Do your thing.
Miss Independent.
Do your thing. And then
Miss Independent was me.
And then you had the issue with the car, Anne.
Yeah.
You had your issues with the car. And then we needed to be in the same space more often so that we could use one car, which was my car. So it made sense. If you had to go to a client, you drop me off at work, and then you just pick me up whenever you were ready. Vice versa, if you didn't have anything, I'd just go drop you off. So yeah, I had pitched that. Then I was like, okay, this lady wants to do things her way.
So maybe let me
because now
let me just
I'm gonna tell my story.
tell my story. Okay, so my
issues.
conviction about us not staying together was not even about you, right? But it was a thing that I had never wanted to do. Like, it was just a thing that I was like, it's not a thing that I ever want to do, right? So whether it would have been you or anyone else, like, it was just a thing that I was, and I wouldn't say against, but it was just not a vibe for me. Like, I didn't see myself staying with someone who I wasn't married to, ne? So it was based on my own kind of principles, and yeah, I was just like, andisboni ndihlasana, yabo? And then also because I had the what was it, like, the kind of experience of being homeless and whatever, right? I wanted to have my own place. No, you know, like, I feel like I need space.
Homeless.
Dependent to be homeless. I didn't want that. But I also just wanted to have a place that I could call my own, right? And even like me getting a place before I gave birth was one of those things where I was like, I don't want my daughter to grow up similarly to my experiences, right? I want her to feel like she can point and say, that's home. So then that's why I was like, okay, I need to make a plan about, because at the time I was living in a back room at my great-grand's house in Soweto. Story for another day. So yeah, and then that's why I felt, Ndobana, let me get myself a place, right? Because of those things. But then when you said, now, because between the time that we moved in together and the time that you brought the idea of living together again, right? It was when now, like, I had experienced all of those, like, I was sick while I was pregnant. I was mentally not in a great space. So I had experienced all of the lows, right? Of just being alone. And I was scared of being alone with Umdana because of those things. And so I knew that I can't independent woman this thing. Like, I definitely knew that I cannot, I'm an independent woman in this experience. Because it wouldn't be fair on Uluhle as well, because I don't think I had the capacity to really be fully on her mom, also kind of unpacking the experiences that I had, right? So I think that's what made me say, let's do it. Maybe if I wasn't pregnant and we weren't expecting, maybe I would have even like prolonged it or pushed it.
Yeah, I think that would have been a different conversation.
I think the fact that Uluhle was soon arriving, and everything that from health issues to like physical health, mental health issues, and just not having a support structure. Because in all honesty, like, when we're talking real, you were literally my anchor support, right? And then a few close friends of mine. But I didn't have any family support. I didn't have people like there. And towards the end of the pregnancy, like, your family also came in, but you were like my main support. And I knew that if, in as much as, you know, you would have access to Luhla and stuff at any point, I need your physical existence there, right? We obviously didn't know that COVID was going to happen and life was going to change completely, but oh boy, was it a great decision.
Yeah, I think when I got to that decision, it was purely on
logic,
practicality,
and money,
finances. So, like, yeah, it wasn't easy. Yeah. There's a lot that came with it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot that came with it, and we've
so
discussed
much.
a lot of that. We've discussed
so much that came with it.
Yeah. But yeah, so fast forward, couple of months in while we're staying together, so we had this routine.
Yeah.
Where we would watch sermons like every night. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was every evening, night. Yeah. And then just sort of have a discussion about it afterwards, like how you felt, what you took from it, and all that stuff. And then part of that was when you spoke about, this is what you really want. For you, this is how you view things. You didn't want, and I mean, you had said that to me. You don't want to live with someone and not get married, because it's just part of, like, your principle is to be married and be living with someone. So, yeah, I mean, that was said then, and then, I mean, a couple of months down the line, now, several glowed. But through the watching of sermons and the discussions, it opened up a lot of room for us to speak about like the things that are necessary. So I always say to Sima that sometimes you need to plant the seed, because when we had the marriage discussion, I always felt like, you know what, there's A, B, and C and D that I want to do first before I even think of getting married. But when we had the discussion, like, it made me reevaluate, because now you go back and you're like, okay, like, what am I waiting for? What am I looking for? Is it not here? Because I did go through that. When we first dated and we broke up, I think when we started speaking, there's a lot we spoke about that we both felt we could have done differently.
Yeah.
Right? And I was, like, sure about, like, she was the one. Like, you know when they say, but you don't know what you have until you lose it. I think we always feel like, Maska, you know. And honestly.
Maska.
And I think as well, partly women also feel like you had me and you know.
Yeah.
So I think I went through that. You just think of a lot of things that a person did or you guys did together that were really good. I mean, towards an end of a relationship, you're not thinking good things. You're just thinking about,
all the
I'm done.
Negative.
Yes, there's A, B, and C, and then I'm done. So for me, that was it. So when I went back and I revisited everything, I was like, in actual fact, the mere fact that I came back and pursued you again, there was something in there. So now, what is it that's missing? You know?
Okay.
And I think from there, then I was like, okay, now I know what I know what I need to do. Yeah. So that's why I always say to you, sometimes planting the seed is very important. I don't think it's not being forward. It's just, sometimes guys need a push.
Yeah.
Or they need a reminder that, the chap. what's going on. So yeah.
But you know, this thing that you're saying about planting the seed is that I think it takes a lot of people, and I don't just want to say women, right? It takes a lot of people time to get to a point where you can be honest about what you really want, right? Because there's this fear of rejection. Like, for example, within a relationship, like, you knew from the onset that my key requirements are that I get married to stay with someone, right? And I didn't change that by us living together. Like, you knew that it was going to be, like, it's going to be a thing. And I think when we had the conversation again, while we, like, a few months in staying together, was that I'll say God would open you up to my level of understanding, right? Because, like, it's like you knew what I wanted, but okay, like, it wasn't,
I was like, yeah, I know what you want, but like it needs like there's a lot going on now, so just relax, please. Relax.
So when we had that conversation again, I think God opened you up to a different level of understanding, and when we were having that conversation, that became, like what you say as planting the seed, that became the thing that cultivated now your desire to be like, or even you evaluating and about, oh, okay, so what must happen now, and how do we then move forward? Because I remember even when we had that conversation, I remember how we talked about, because Sive is like, Sive forever goes into finances, like he like,
the important finance.
Like, I'll go by the conversation of Sive without him wanting to understand numbers, right? And with, you know, when you're talking marriage, especially because we're Black, African, Xhosa people, right? There's this requirement of ilobola, and that was making you panic at the same time. You know, like, the way our finances are structured now, we just had a baby. I got retrenched when Lucia was 8 weeks old. Like, how's that all going to work out? Because now it was like he's the main guy in the house. Like, we all dependent on this one salary. And I remember saying to you, once you have the desire to do something, no matter what it is, God opens the opportunity. And I think maybe that's not the conversation that, like, tilted you, or even like in faith for provision, but provision didn't become a thing once you've made the decision that I'm gonna do this. Like, God just made a way.
That's true.
So that is how we actually got engaged. Well, that's not how we got engaged, because we we had that conversation, and then I think a few months later, it wasn't even long, maybe it was a month or two later. It was a month or two later. We were literally we had just exercised in the morning, and we were standing by the kitchen counter, and then he said, like, I want my uncles to go to your place. So that's how he actually proposed. Apart from the proposal, the actual proposal was him just standing at a kitchen counter and being like, oh yeah, then and
it made sense.
Like, that's how I knew that he wanted to get married. And also, he didn't even like ask if, you know, is that what you want? He was just like, he was just like, and that's basically how our process began.
But I mean, there was no need to ask. We were on the same page.
But will you marry me? Will you marry me? Isn't that?
This when you marry me, since we right? Aye.
So that was actually my. And now that I think about it, because I almost said that was our first proposal. But do you realize that we were technically engaged the first time we dated?
Yeah, let's not go there. Let's not go there. I didn't even know what that
What
meant.
that meant? Yeah.
Wakudlala.
Godlala.
Wakudlala ngelaa xesha.
Oh,
Sasingabantwana sidlala. Sasidlalisa. Sasingabantwana kudlala. Chintiza. Then utata uba serious. Engxaki wena deep.
because when diserazi umowa. Diserazi. But yeah, that was basically how he asked to marry me. And then the process started and unfolded, and our families then got involved. And then we had the romantic proposal after that. So basically, that's how the marriage conversation started. And I think as we close, I think it's important for people to actually be comfortable in communicating what they desire, because then you'll know whether a person can give you that or not.
But it does take time and space, Not we didn't get there.
We didn't just get there
from get-go. It took some time. And I guess a bit of a routine, and sort of like we started overlapping in terms of we did certain things together. So it made it just made it a bit easier now to start communicating in a different way, in a better way, and focusing on what you want. Because I guess sometimes as people we fear the reaction of the other person. Then you hold back whatever you want to say.
Now that I think about it, Glenduti, sometimes we need time, right? There's a friend of mine, when we had we hadn't even gotten back together, but we were conversating about it. And there's a friend of mine who gave me a prophecy that you're my husband. And I was like, I saw it.
Who's that? Okay, I think it's time to end. It's been great.
Ima. Wait. So she gave me that prophecy, right, when we were still in conversation. And it's when I was saying, like, I need to evaluate whether we're getting back together for the right reasons. Ne? So when she was saying that, I was like, I don't like a demon. But with time, I started seeing it, right? So even though I had communicated with you, by the time I was saying, now we're dating and this is what I want, I definitely knew that, like, I wanted a long-term relationship with you, right? But at the point where we're talking, getting back together, and then this person says, I'm seeing him as your husband, I'm just like, break up.
On my yarrow. This is the one.
Break up. Yeah.
This is the one I want, God. Bring him to all those coffee dates. Bring him.
Yeah, but then I hadn't seen the foresight. She'd already told me, but I was just like,
yeah, but I mean, you accepted the coffee dates. Coffee, yeah, siyaphunga.
Yeah, because you were good people. And we got along.
No, but you're testing the waters about, okay, is what was said to me going to happen? Okay, you can't test. It's okay.
No,
it's okay.
No, I wasn't even. Like, it's one of those things where I got the prophecy and I put it literally at the far. In fact, I think ndikumbule very recent, but actually she had said that.
Yeah, but subconsciously we test the waters. It's okay. It's okay.
Apparently. Anyway, guys.
And on that beautiful note.
Thank you for joining us. Yeah, and until the next one.
Cheers, guys.
Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.